Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abbie.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts,
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
Whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate.
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express.
Hey, Potterneers, welcome to episode 111 of the Disney Hour Express. Today, we're actually crossing over to the other park and diving into the world of Epic Universe. Universal's Orlando's, I added an extra S there. So Universal Orlando's latest and most ambitious theme park venture yet.
You know, I think one time when you're introducing the podcast, the actual hey might just appear out of nowhere. You say it enough times.
I do say it. That's like my intro. Yeah.
I notice it every time. Maybe he'll show up.
Listen, I used to say hey to you. I used to say hey babe, but
Oh.
now we don't anymore.
That's bringing it back. That's pre 100 episode.
Maybe pre 30 episode.
No,
We changed it pretty quickly.
No, we didn't.
I
For a
thought so.
while. Let's go back. Somebody go to the archives.
Yeah. I think people were confused though when I used to start with hey babe because they thought we were doing like testing of the microphones and stuff. I got that
Interesting.
comment once. I was like, oh,
Did we?
interesting. Yeah.
Viewer comments. We like those feedback. If you
Yeah.
have feedback, in fact, go ahead and leave it for us somewhere, wherever you listen to this podcast. We would really love a listen, a comment, a question.
Input.
Yeah, if you have any questions, just drop a comment. Everyone says like rate, review, subscribe, rate, review, follow, whatever it is. We'd appreciate it. But
Do it
now that I took that epic break from your intro, let's get universally into it.
So cool. That sounds
Okay.
great. So we have been just devouring Epic Universe news as the parks, they had the whole media blitz happen, and then the park suddenly made some surprise announcements, which we'll get into. But if you have been hiding under a rock or you just want the information like I do about every single little detail, this episode is absolutely for you. So this is the fourth theme park that is over in Universal Orlando. The other theme parks there are Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay. So this is Epic Universe is kind of going to be an incredibly immersive experience like no other. It has themed lands, each transporting guests into fantastical realms inspired by the franchise and original creations.
Fantastic.
So when we say that you're transported, you're going through a tunnel, right? A tunnel that's transporting you into these different lands. I mean, you couldn't
Somebody
have
even call it a portal.
portal. Yes, tunnel portal. Thank you. But I mean, you can't it really is signifying to you and your senses that you are leaving and entering somewhere else completely, and get ready. So
And that's Portal TM. That's,
there you
I'm
go.
sure Universal's trying to trademark that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. So Epic Universe was scheduled to open on May 22nd, but recently we were surprised with the Universal potentially opening the park early, which has now been confirmed.
Is that's official?
It is. So they're kind of saying it's a soft opening,
Yeah.
and we're going to get into those details more later. So stick
Oh.
around. Okay? Stick
Okay.
around. All right. Let's dive in, and I'm going to need a lot of help from you, Rob, because it's a lot to cover. So I need to hear all your thoughts.
I talked to Lando. I'm contractually not allowed to speak until the end of the podcast. So
I can't deal with that. No, thank you. You and Lando denied.
all right.
Okay. So 5 themed lands are going to be over at Epic Universe. We've got Celestial Park, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe. Each land, like we said, is going to offer immersive experiences and attractions. And in total, this new area has 11 brand new rides spanning over the 110-acre park. Okay. So it's a pretty big area. I think that in my mind, when I had imagined this, I imagined something a lot smaller. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's no, I don't know. It seemed like the appropriate size for me
For a park.
For a park. I mean, I just think it's not. I mean, I guess I got to look and we haven't looked and compared, like, how is it compared to
the other Universal parks?
Other Universal parks, and then Disney, even how big is Disney's park?
It's true. I mean, we have that information everywhere. We've talked about it a little bit, but we'll jump right in. So with Celestial Park, and what blew me away about Celestial Park is like how the colors that they use like these kind of blue, green, gold colors for Celestial Park, which instantly made me feel very calm looking at all this stuff. Beautiful. I mean, the detail work at Celestial Park really, I mean, it's gorgeous. It's somewhere where I would want to stay a long time. And we always laughed about carousels being in parks, but this carousel looks pretty dang cool. They've got the Constellation Carousel over in Celestial Park, where you can hop onto a celestial creature to enjoy a one-of-a-kind merry-go-round experience. Now, the difference about this kind of carousel is that each carriage can turn 360 degrees while lifting riders up to 6 feet high. Can you imagine your kiddo like they're going up 6 feet high and you just being like, you okay up there? Oh my gosh. So they're obviously strapped in. Under 48 inches tall, you must have an adult with you on this ride. So let's think about what's 48 inches. For those of you who don't know, we're thinking about a 7 or 8 year old. Okay. So if you're under 48 inches, and that's a typical kid. Our kids are much taller than that at 7 and 8 years old, but that's a typical kid. If you're over 48 inches tall, you can kind of pop on here and your parent can wave to you from the sidelines, which is what we like to do, right? Beautiful creatures on this carousel. I would not be angry to pop over here and see. So that's one of the rides over in Celestial Park. They've also got Stardust Racers, which is the exciting coaster. Okay. Again, 48 inches is where you need to be at to get on this ride. It's built to mimic a comet shooting across the night sky, and it's a dual launch coaster. So this has been compared to Velociraptor a lot. It hits speeds up to 62 miles per hour and goes up to 133 feet. So that's a lot. Our Back to the Future fans, and Rob brought this up the other day. He was really excited to see it. They might go crazy because there is a flux capacitor on the back of each coaster.
And what is a flux capacitor?
Oh, that's up to you to explain. I just know that it gets you into time travel, right?
That's what makes time travel possible.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we've heard through the grapevine that the 2 different tracks can represent different intensity levels. Now, this might just be a rumor that we've made up so that everybody goes on the ride multiple times and tries the different side of the coasters.
Just say we didn't make that up.
Yes, no, but we definitely like to buy into these rumors, because who doesn't like to go on a coaster twice, right? And try the different sides and see all that it has to give. But these are the 2 rides that are over in Celestial Park. Okay. Beautiful. Awesome. Can't wait to see both of them.
Before we move into the other parks.
Sure. Tell me.
So comparatively to Disney World, which is what we compare everything to, right? Here at the Disney Hour Express podcast. Right, I think we said Epic Universe is 110 acres.
Yes.
Okay. So the closest in comparison parks that they have is Hollywood Studios is 135 acres.
Oh, okay. And Hollywood Studios, there's like big parts of Hollywood Studios to me that feel blank. Like they could have put more things, especially when you get out to the Chinese theater. Like, and I get it because that's where they like people to stand. But in Magic Kingdom, they made those blank spaces seem more unblank, right? They add like different kinds of grass and trees and all sorts of
Magic Kingdom.
Yes, a Magic Kingdom. So they like kind of added in that space,
which in comparison is 142 acres.
Gotcha.
Magic Kingdom. Like so those are the two. The other, like obviously, Epcot is 300 acres, and Animal Kingdom. Even though Animal Kingdom itself, maybe it feels like there's just nothing. There's not a lot for you to do there.
Yeah.
It's 580 acres.
Wow.
Over the course, right? Because that's including everything when you go to Rafiki's Planet Watch and you take the train out. That's all still part of Animal Kingdom, where all the animals are. Obviously, the safari is big. Anyway,
it's huge.
Getting us back to the Epic universe. So, which way are we going to go? Are we going to go clockwise, counterclockwise? Why don't we pick one? I'm asking you to go live on the air. Which one are we going to do?
Well, we're going to go towards Isle of Berk.
Okay, so we're going to go counterclockwise.
All right. So the first, we'll talk about the Dragon Racers Rally. Again, you need to be about 48 inches tall to ride this one. You transform yourself into a Viking and practice your aerobatic dragon riding skills. What's cool about this is you're going to be on a dragon where you can like flap the wings and adjust the intensity of the ride. And some of the cast members over at Epic have said that they know how to barrel roll, and they like to count how many times they can barrel roll. It's very, very cool. So you've got a lot of control on this guy. Very fun, very immersive to be on top of a dragon and just flying up and down. I bet it feels amazing.
Yes, I mean I haven't really seen a whole lot, right? But it does look amazing.
So if you've got smaller kids, you do the fire drill, but it's called fire with a Y, F-Y-R-E. I don't know why. But I guess
don't know why.
It's like, yeah. Did you like that? It's children under 48 inches. They must have an adult, but there's no real minimum requirement for how tall you need to be on this ride. Very fun. You're going to be on a boat battle, right? So there will be two boats kind of competing against each other, extinguishing whatever comes your way, which is like, dragons. And you're going to take a seat. You're going to shoot your water blasting cannon. There's different colors that you might need to achieve throughout this, right? There's red flames, orange and green and blue. You're going to get wet. They say you might get wet, but you're going to get wet because people on the other boat can choose to ignore hitting the targets and just hit the boat across the way. And I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, I wonder if that's part of the object of the game or if that's just an option. Because I see that I've seen them go around and like have to hit
targets,
parts of the facade that's around them, surrounding them as as the boat travels around the water. But I guess I haven't seen any boat-to-boat interaction, right? Whether that's going to be a thing. Because,
and I think it's just as you go around one of the bends, you can definitely shoot over and get the other boat. Now, one of the boats wins, right? There's got to be a top score here, which is really fun to kind of be on the winning boat or not on the winning boat. You're going to want to do it again and again.
Well, the losing boat, it does sink, and all the inhabitants are forced to swim to shore, right?
No, that's not this ride.
No? So here, quick story. I'll go back. This is Universal lore. My family growing up, we were all obsessed with the Jaws ride. When my younger siblings were much younger, I told my younger sister that when she asked, I was explaining to her what the Jaws ride was. And mind you, I hadn't been on it at this point, but in my mind, I had made it up. And this is what I was going to tell her, was that Jaws does come and attack your boat, and you have to swim to the edge of the lake that you're in.
How old was she when you
And
told her
that
this?
if Jaws does get you, it's not an actual shark, but it's a slide that brings you underwater to a closed off portion of the park, and that our parents would then pick her up later.
Robert.
Yes, well, so it's being an older brother, right? That's just the type of things you do. So hopefully this happens at the fire drill, because that's what I'm telling Heidi and Bailey when we get out of this.
Oh my gosh, you're impossible.
No, you couldn't do that now because YouTube everywhere. You see everything.
You see everything prior, which is a blessing, maybe for some things. Who knows?
Yeah.
Back over here at the Isle of Berk, you also have Hiccup's wing gliders. Got to be about 40 inches tall, but please remember, children under 48 inches must have the adult with them. This is a coaster, and it gives you great views of the Isle of Berk. You're going to swoop around and dip over the lagoon, and you're going to enjoy the cuteness. I mean, so cute of the animatronic Hiccup and Toothless. They really went above and beyond on these animatronics. I mean, how many times have we watched Toothless getting pet by people visiting?
Anyone visiting there.
Yeah,
that's so kind of like a separate.
Cool. It's separate. That's not the Toothless or Hiccup that you'll see here at the Hiccup's wing gliders, but it's very similar looking, right? It's a smaller version of who you would meet later in the park. Adorable. So that kind of sums up the rides that are over in Isle of Berk. Next, we'll go over to the Ministry of Magic, which has one ride, but this one ride will blow your mind. The queue for this ride is unbelievable. You're going to probably spend a lot of time here, but it's just down to the tile work and the thoughtfulness of this whole area. I mean, wow. So it's Harry Potter in the Battle of the Ministry. Again, 40-inch minimum, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal by now. The Harry Potter story, it comes alive just, again, starting in the queue. Dolores Umbridge is going to stand trial, and you need to travel by Metroflu, and that's where it starts, from Paris to the British Ministry of Magic. So you're going to go through the flu, right? And you're going to really experience that. It's so cool looking. It's dark indoor ride, and you're going to be in an omnidirectional vehicle, but they make it seem like it's a lift, moving up and down and forward and backwards through the ride. Now, so far, this has been one of the most protected rides. We haven't seen the actual on the ride video, but we've seen a lot in the queue that just tell you this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, we can't. It's supposed to be. They say that it's similar to. It's like wow, I can't blank. What's the one that's in the Gringotts? Is like a similar escape Gringotts,
yes,
in a way, but it's kind of like you're going sideways, kind of like the Forbidden Journey, but you're in everyone's. So if I could bring yet another ride into it, it's kind of like you're sitting more like Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror, absolutely.
Yeah, so 100%. It's like that elevator moving sideways and up and down, but so you're kind of looking at everything. So I heard it's not as it's not going to be as intense as those, like a Forbidden Journey. Yes. Obviously, we've talked about it many times where I turned green after that one, but apparently that's something that a lot of people deal with that are motion sensitive.
Yeah.
And they said somebody that we watched, Quincy from allears.net, said that she is also motion sensitive and did not. It wasn't that bad.
This ride didn't trigger her as much. Now, one of the cool nerd facts about this is one of the first Harry Potter rides that Universal has actually taken on the whole story themselves, right? It's not an existing story from the movies. This is a new story. So that's cool. It's definitely a perfect surprise. Can't wait. Now we move over to Dark Universe. Ooh, it is scary here. The music that's played in the background as you're walking through and some of the characters you meet really really transform you, bring you into the world of the dark universe. We've got The Curse of the Werewolf, which is a 40-inch minimum. It's a spinning, but they say family coaster through Darkmoor's woods. You're going to see some glowing eyes, gnashing teeth, and haunted halls. I don't know what that is, but haunted, creepy things are going to follow you through this ride. So we're kind of thinking about Haunted Mansion, but a little bit creepier, I think. So it goes up to 37 miles per hour. It goes backwards and forwards on the track. And then it also add in spinning. You can spin around on this one. So definitely take your motion sickness medication. And if you're not into the spinning and the teacups.
Right. And they said but it's quick though, right?
It's quick. Yeah. It's a quick one. But again, family friendly. This is supposed to, even though it has the scary factor, I think that it's also a really good fun factor too. Then you've got Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. So 40-inch minimum. This is Dracula is leading a monster revolt in this one. But I think you had the proper name. It was like the niece or something that was doing the experiment to start with. What did you say?
Yeah, I believe it's supposed to be
Victoria.
It's Victoria Frankenstein. Victor's granddaughter, great-granddaughter, something like that.
Okay, but Dracula is leading the monster revolt, and it feels like a ride and a movie kind of combined because there's all sorts of different things. It operates on a robo coaster arm, similar to the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And from what we've seen, again, it's so hard to express what it is. I, as an adult, thought that the Forbidden Journey was actually very creepy. And I was like, okay, we are not doing this with the kids. Like, this is not their kind of creepy. And I kind of felt the same way about this one. There's a lot of kind of flash in front of your face images that are a little bit scarier. Now, we've heard reviews all across the board about like some folks being like, nah, it's not really scary, or it is scary. I really think you have to think about your kids and what they get scared by and don't get scared by. But I think we would probably skip this one for the age our kids are at right now. But it looks really cool. I hope to experience it. Just kind of the animatronics in the beginning are interesting to me. I mean, Frankenstein looked really, really cool. Victoria, I was kind of like, meh, she's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frankenstein looked awesome. So.
Yes, I mean we have to support the undead. So
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, big old Frank.
So then you've
still
got
kicking it.
What we've been waiting for, I feel like forever, aside from Harry Potter, is the Super Nintendo World.
Oh.
I mean, this one, we've got it over in Hollywood. Now we're over here in Orlando. We've got Minecart Madness, 40-inch minimum. You board that minecart and race through the majestic Golden Temple to help Donkey Kong protect the golden bananas. The awesome track makes it seem like your cart leaps over gaps and switches tracks throughout the ride. And it really makes you feel like you're inside the game, right? Because these are certain things that happen in the game. It's a lot of jerking and jostling because they want you to feel like you're in a minecart. So as we talked about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train a little bit in depth last week and how each cart is individual from the next cart. So your jostling is going to be different. It's not going to be synced up with everybody else that's on their carts.
I do enjoy a good jostling.
And that's what makes it feel so like unique, right? It's going to bounce you around. All right. Then
and that's also the Minecart Madness. That's where we're talking about, the one where you're going to be jumping the tracks.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So it gives you the effect.
Yes.
Right. And then we've gone over that in a little bit in detail. I talked about it way back when, that you're actually on two different tracks. Right. Okay, go.
Gotcha. Oh, two different tracks. Tell me about that.
There's what looks to you as if your cart is actually on an upper track, on one track, but that's actually an upper. It's like, and then there's the actual track that your cart is connected to is below it. Yes. So when it appears like your track is, ending, and you're about to jump over,
You're
there's a track underneath there that you kind of can see, but kind of can't see. But there's tons of things that distract you.
But
along
right,
the way.
it's like immersive and magical, and so our daughter was, as she was watching this, she was like, "Wait, how did they do that? Wait, I think I know how they do that." But like, she was trying to figure it out in her mind, like how that's actually done. So that's kind of cool. I used to love as a kid looking around and figuring out the rides. Right. I loved it when things would I loved and hated it. I loved it when things would kind of break down and you get to see the background, but I hated it because you obviously wanted to go on the ride. But seeing the background and how it's created is more mind-blowing sometimes than I think the ride is. Like, how do you think of up all these mechanics that are doing the job? So also over in Super Nintendo World, we've got Yoshi's Adventure. You've got to be 34-inch minimum. So this is a more slow moving experience where you're going to be in Yoshi's car searching for glowing eggs. This sounds like a lot of fun, a really good family and interactive game. It allows visitors to press the corresponding egg you see with the goal of collecting all the eggs. So definitely a fun game for the fam.
Absolutely.
And then we've got the famous Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. 40-inch minimum. Again, under 48 inches, you've got to have that adult with you because we know those kids under 48 inches are naughty. So get ready to put on some goggles. So this is a goggle ride that are part of the plan to transport you into an augmented reality world where you'll collect coins and throw shells, all the things that you do in the game. You'll experience augmented reality, projections, mapping, and 3D sets, making this ride one of the most immersive experience in all of Epic Universe. So even though it's a duplicated ride from over at Hollywood, Universal and Japan, there are multiple different endings or outcomes, I should say. And so it makes the ride kind of different every time. And hopefully every time you go on it, you'll get a different outcome. I mean, that's not always the case, but hopefully it is. And it just makes it really cool.
And that's for anybody that's played Mario Kart, right? You kind of have an understanding of how this is going to work. We've all played it. I played against the kids. Abbie's played it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. It is fun, though. Yeah.
It is a good time. Side note, just for any of us gamers that are out there as well that are listening to it, how about those prices for the new Nintendo Switch games?
I know. What were you saying? Like $80?
The Mario Kart, it's $80 for the digital version. It's an extra $10 for the physical copy if you want the little cartridge to go in.
What are we doing?
That's insane.
Here?
That's bringing up. That's like almost a fifth of the price of the actual console. Anyway, rant over, back to theme parks and that talk.
So, okay. This has been really cool. I mean, that is like a super intense, quick overview of the rides. There's so much more there, right? Well, we've got restaurants.
And that's and I'd like to talk a little bit more about the extras.
Tell me about all that.
So the interesting thing about it is, right, this is a 110-acre theme park, I guess, right? They're calling it a separate park. It has these 5 individual lands, really 4 of them. I mean, Celestial Park, it's there. It has theming, but it's really just kind of like the hub that gets you to the other places. So you got to imagine that each one of these is, again, comparing it to, it's kind of like going into Galaxy's Edge in a way, right? It's like its own separate kind of park in amongst these other parks. But if you look at like Hollywood Studios and what we're used to in Disney and even throughout the other Universal parks, there are a lot of options for you to eat.
Yeah.
In this particular Universal Epic Universe, there's only one sit-down dining restaurant that's like an actual, table service restaurant.
Right. How does that make you feel?
I mean, that makes me feel like they're kind of rushing me. like they don't. I mean, it feels, and it's different. Obviously, there's like the Grand Helios. The Helios Hotel is going to has its own restaurants, right?
Right, but like think about Animal Kingdom and how you go out to go to Rainforest Cafe. Is it going to feel like that?
Well, I mean,
If you're
you're not
going to Helios
yeah, if you're
to
going there, but that's aside
eat.
from that, the one in the restaurant, there's only the one, and that's in Celestial Park.
Mhm.
And that I'm trying to get the name of that is oh no, I take that back. There's two. I see. I was wrong already. There's the Atlantic, which is an undersea adventure.
Yes, looks beautiful.
Yeah,
but it's all seafood.
Seafood and steak.
Yeah.
While giant illuminated fish gracefully circle above you. Right?
Mhm.
So that's a very nice one. And then there's also the Blue Dragon Pan Asian restaurant.
Right.
And those are the two, right? Those are the two sit downs in all of the parks.
And then everything is
They have the Oak and Star Tavern, which is a place to go get some, I think they say like brew and, if it said some barbecue and brews or something like that.
Mhm.
There's a place called Pizza Moon. These are all, again, either snacks and beverages or quick service. There's Meteor Astropub, the Plastered Owl Bar. There's Steak Suey Bao, which our kids would probably like. They love some bao.
Mhm.
Frosty Moon, Comet Hot Dogs. These are all kind of just, again, it's all quick service here in Celestial Park.
Yeah.
So as far as getting into the theming, and that's where I kind of feel like a little bit like, why not just have at least one? Again, I can understand have a sit down place, but again, Galaxy's Edge doesn't have a sit down.
Yeah.
Really, besides Oga's. So it has, I'm on the wrong page.
But it's just that this park is so much further away from other parks. Whereas if you're over in...
You can get to it.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, they have, so in How to Train Your Dragon, there's Mead Hall, and that seems to kind of be the big one. Spitfire Grill with a Y again. Why? Because we like you. And then they have a snacks and beverage place called Hooligan's Grog and Gruel. Over in Harry Potter. Now, this is where I kind of, over in the you're going over to Gay Paris, as they call it. They could have had some more options here. It's really only 3 places to eat. It's Cafe L'air de la Serene. Might be saying that wrong. Then they have Le Goblet Noir, the Black Goblet.
All right.
Then there's a snacks and beverage place called Bar Moonshine. And that's really it.
Okay. Well, that's
I mean,
we'll have to see how it all pans out. One of
the other things that they have in there that we were watching YouTube videos.
Sure.
They were supposed to preview this. We didn't get a chance to see exactly what was inside. They have a show, right? It's Come Face to Face with Fantastic Beasts at Le Cirque Arcanus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's supposed to be, part of the Fantastic Beasts, and you're gonna go and see so cool. Some of those, and right?
It's gonna be cool.
Going back, so now we're at Nintendo. We got the Toadstool Cafe, which is that's their main dining. Yes. Then they just have some snacks and beverages places around there. The Bubbly Barrel, Yoshi's Snack Island, Turbo Boost Treats, and we talk about the where was I with the monster? So what we saw the most of was the stuff that's in the Dark Universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those were, I lost my page, of course. It's Das Steakhouse, right? It was like kind of the one, obviously that's supposed to be it's just a quick service. Then there's the Burning Blade Tavern, which is the one that has the really cool effect of the windmill that lights on fire every so often.
Yes.
And you eat underneath it. And then they have a quick service, the Lacey's Cottage.
All right.
Those had some cool theming in them. They had some, like the one place where you walk in and you're like a monster. There's like a monster hunter, and they're like, "Are you a monster?" And they're like, and then there's like werewolf heads on the back of the bar.
I mean, and one of the bartenders had an axe that she was carrying on her shoulder. I mean, it's cool, and she was wielding it like she knew her business.
And I like the little effects that they have throughout. And we talked about it a little bit last week, and that Celestial Park I think was supposed to have more of this, but they have entertainers that are kind of they have a guy playing it was a guy, and we also saw a girl,
female,
a woman and a man, playing
at separate times.
Yes, at separate times.
Playing some fiddle
and kind of interacting with the crowd. There's like an invisible
so cool.
man. And then even over in How to Train Your Dragon, right? They saw that. I'm not familiar with the franchise as much as I should be, or much as I will be before we go. But they had like a guy that's like pretending like he's operating a shop, right?
Yes.
And he's just like talking to you about like shelves. And there was this whole thing that we saw a video.
It was kind of funny. Shelves had just been invented.
He's like, can you believe this? Shelves. And like, oh, well, look over to your...
so cool. Yeah. Like their makeup and their hair, like it's very cool. It's like, I don't know. It's better than what I would have expected for sure. Okay. Yeah.
And so, those are just kind of the other aspects of it.
Yeah. So some interesting news came out that if you have clients staying at one of the resorts now, like between April 17th through May 8th, they can inquire at the Vacation Planning Center desk in the lobby of their hotel about purchasing a preview ticket to Epic Universe. So they are going to do a soft opening. The tickets offered are at limited capacity, so it's possible that not all inquiries will be met. But, annual pass holders can begin to purchase their tickets and all sorts of things for this preview time. Now, as someone who was selling those May 22nd tickets, do I have clients that are kind of irked by this? I sure do. But we'll leave it to... I'm surprised that they're opening early, right? Don't we want it all ready to go?
I mean, I think it especially because it kind of feels like now there is like the soft opening, right? Because they're kind of doing all these. They had like a media, days, and they had the cast member days, and the like that should be the soft opening. Like, why do we have to jump ahead and allow like the public
soft
opening? the dirty public?
But do we want to be there? Oh, desperately. We desperately want to be there and see this opening. It looks really cool. Now, the bummer about it, though, is the park hours for the soft opening have been announced as of now to be 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. from April 17th to May 8th. This is very new. These hours could change. But from what we've heard, that's just not enough time to get everything done in one day, right? I'm glad that they're going later into the night, though, because Celestial area and everywhere has really amazing lighting. This was definitely, to me, it feels like it was meant to be an evening park with the way that they've created everything.
Just even walking in, it has like lights on when you go into the park, it has lights that like light up on the ground that you're walking over and just feel like you're entering into a different world.
Yeah. So one of the big questions we've been asked is like, is this really a park for kids? Is it kid friendly, especially if you're looking at the Monster Universe stuff? And Universal has definitely been trying to rebrand themselves as the very family friendly, whole family theme park. But then you think about the Halloween Horror Nights and stuff, that they kind of do attract an older crowd, or at least like the teen and up crowd. So Universal has an app, just like Disney has an app, and it actually has a filter on this app that you can put in kid-friendly rides, and it will bring up those what they think the kid-friendly rides are. And what those were for Epic Universe were the Dragon Racers Rally, the Fire Drill, the Hiccup Swing Gliders, and the Viking Training Camp. So we know that these are the areas in which Epic Universe that for the youngsters would be very accommodating. Now there's going to be more, right? They're going to, for sure. But that's kind of what they're leaning on as the younger areas. So let's say you can't at all be there for the opening and you're really upset about this. Universal is hitting the road with an interactive experience, which is like supposed to be like ramping up the excitement. It's called the Universal Portal Toll, and it's stopping. Yeah.
The Portal Tour. Yep.
Yeah.
Which we talked about.
Did I say toll? Yeah, tour. Sorry about that.
We did talk about a little bit last week.
Yes.
But I kind of stumbled through that one. So
being a part of this episode being just all about Epic Universe, let's mention again that this tour is going to stop in Atlanta, New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago. And what does that really mean? It means that there's going to be this thing called Chronos, correct? And please jump in if I say any of this wrong. And it will act as a portal entry into its 5 themed worlds. It is a 30-foot tall
it's one of the portals. Yeah.
Yes, where you can witness the action-packed sequences that celebrate all the incredible adventures in this new theme park. You can get a photo at the portal and kind of hang out and see. The first stop is going to be at Atlanta's Pemberton Place, which is adjacent to the World of Coca-Cola, from April 11th to the 13th. Then it heads to New York's Rockefeller Center from April 23rd to 26th. Then it's going to stop at Rocky Steps, which I know Rob was really excited, in Philadelphia, from May 16th to the 18th. And then over at Chicago's Pioneer Court from June 13th to 18th. These displays will be open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that kind of matches this timing of the park being open, right? Which is interesting. So, I mean, good to know.
Let's just be honest. When looking back at this, it's essentially just going to be a big screen inside the portal. You're going to watch 100%. the Universal kind of propaganda that they're showing you. But I see.
But if your heart is broken that you can't be there in Orlando and you live near one of these places, wouldn't you just pop by, see it a little?
Maybe.
Why not?
I mean, because I can't get any rides, and now some characters are going to show up. Then maybe I'll get in.
Yeah, you never know.
I want to be bitten by Dracula.
But basically, that's our super quick epic universe.
That is
episode. But we've always got more news for you.
But what I would like to do, I would like for us, like, what do you think so far? So obviously we haven't attended. We've watched everything kind of secondhand.
Yes.
What do you think so far? What do you think? Is Epic Universe epic?
Is it epic? Listen, I think that it is. I was really hesitant until I got into all of this deep diving and watching about it and seeing how cool everything is. I'm really excited. I'm pumped about it. It's cool. It's cool. I'm ready to see it. I don't know. You know me. I'm not like a huge Nintendo person. And I felt like when it first was dropped, it was like really focused on that. And I couldn't quite grasp what was happening over at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and like how that was going to pan out. But everything's so much more breathtaking than I had originally thought. But I think to go to this park, I would want to stay at Helios and just focus on this park. The other parks are so stinking far away in that traffic that like I'm not sure I would want to do them all. Does that sound kind of like snotty of me?
Well, definitely not in one day. You wouldn't want to do them all.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you can't do them all in one day. Just adding in the traffic and the time and all the rides that you want to do.
Yeah.
I think this is a huge, great addition to Orlando's area for Universal, right? Okay. I mean, but also, excuse me, the part that kind of stinks about it is when you're, as a travel agent, when you're talking to your clients, especially when we were talking about the first 2 original parks that were open, which is Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. And you're talking about Harry Potter, right? They have a kid that's like Harry Potter obsessed. Well, they want to go on that train. Well, you got to book the 2 parks. Well, now they want to see the Ministry of Magic. Well, now you got to book a 3rd park. So this is now turning into like a really expensive big adventure to see all these things. Whereas if you were going to Disney, they kind of have, you want to see Star Wars? Well, that's one park, right? You don't have to go to all 4 parks to see Star Wars stuff. I mean, you can potentially see, but not really. Right? You're going to go to the one park. And so that is where I kind of have a hiccup with all of this is that they're really, they've made it so that to really experience all of it, all Harry Potter, it's a pricey adventure. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
So here it is. This is Rob's hot take. I'm a little underwhelmed.
Really?
Yeah. I just again, without actually being there, but with seeing the distance around the park,
Mhm.
how big the park is and what it's offering. And I know not everything was open at the time. It just seemed like there wasn't, I don't know. It seemed like it would be easy to get through everything.
Okay.
Especially with the way our family is and the way it's set up, like we're very ride obsessed.
Yes.
And I just feel with the amount of rides that they have that would include all ages, that it's just not a lot. We were watching obviously we're watching YouTube videos that are done by influencers, and they're like, I can't do everything in one day because they're stopping to take pictures of every storefront. And they're looking at this and they're, taking a long time in the queues, even though there was no lines, right? They're walking around. Obviously, we're not going to be dealing with that. We're going to be dealing with hour-long queues to get into the Ministry of Magic and so on and so forth. But it felt like there's not a lot. Our kids are not going to want to go to Dark Universe. They're not going to want to go in there, unfortunately.
Even though, I'm going to ask if we can at least go to the werewolf hunting cafe or whatever.
Yeah, we'd like to be able to go in there. We'd have to go during the day. It won't be at night.
Yeah.
And just because they don't really understand, they're not in the scary things. And I feel like that's more and more kids nowadays. Whereas the difference between,
reality.
I would have just been bored by this because of the horror movies that I've seen when I was their age. Anyway, so if you take away Dark Universe, that's a bunch of those, and those rides seem intense as well, right? Either you're on a spinning roller coaster, which to me sounds like, or the Monsters Unchained is very intense. We kind of saw on a unauthorized preview of the ride. So you kind of take that apart, Ministry of Magic, it looks cool, but it's essentially just one thing there, and then it's all just shops, and they're hoping that you're going to be spending time, buying and waving a new wand around at these events, right, with little shops. The Nintendo world is there's a lot more probably to do for the kids, right? I think all three rides are somewhat accessible, kid friendly-ish. And they also have the power up. Now in Nintendo World, just like over in Hollywood, where we talked about, you can buy these power up bands for like $40 each, and they connect to your Universal app, and you go around, and just like in Super Mario that we've all seen played before, you could go around and punch bricks, and it makes like the classic I'm getting a coin sound.
Yeah.
And things like that, and there is like some sort of a quest in that land. So I find that is definitely something where the kids can spend some extra time in after you get the three rides done. Then How to Train Your Dragon, again, I think because I'm not a fan of the franchise, the rides seem okay. I think I don't know about the roller coaster, if the kids are going to want to do the gliders, the was it wing up glider? I don't know if they're going to want to do that one or not. The battle, obviously, they're gonna like the boats. They like to get wet, and they're probably just gonna end up shooting me if they can turn. There's gonna be a mutiny on that bounty. And then I don't know about the other ride. So it just walking around there, you're gonna pet the animals and see it, but is there that much more to do there? I don't know.
Interesting. That's an interesting take, and I'm kind of surprised that that's where you're coming from. But I can respect that. I can respect that.
So I got to see. Obviously, I'm gonna go. I want us to experience it. I want to be a part of it and check it all out. I think it's gonna be very cool. Like, I'm excited to go see it all. But as far as like your question that you asked, is it family friendly? Is it kid friendly? Parts of it is, but I don't know if all of it. And then the Celestial Park, like, our kids aren't going to want to go on the Stardust Racers. I think it's too intense.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I think one of them. I think one of them will. One of them won't.
Yeah.
It may not be the one that you're thinking either.
Interesting.
For those of us that know these kids, these children, Yeah. So it just, to me, it seemed like maybe they could, we're going to have to let it expand and kind of
feel it out a little bit more.
So that's why, like, I'm almost, of course I have FOMO. I want us to be there first thing and reporting it back to you to the Pioneers. But also, I kind of wanted to, it's like a jacket. It's like in a leather jacket. You got to let it break in a little bit before, you're ready to wear it. You're ready to hop into it. You want to show it off to this cool girl you met. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So, anyway, so that's just kind of where I was a little underwhelmed, but maybe that's better. Expectations going in low, and then you're pleasantly surprised when you have a great time.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for that perspective. What kind of news do we got?
So, over in Disney, the bigger news of the week, there were some tidbits here and there, but the bigger news was they were talking about over in, again, talking about Paris. We're not talking about the Ministry of Magic. We're talking about Disneyland Paris.
Oh.
And they're now the newly named Adventure Isle.
Okay.
Over in Adventure World. So they're opening up this big new area of the park.
Yeah.
And it's going to be surrounded because they love their water features, and it's going to be called Adventure Isle. And so they're getting, this whole new area. It's going to be huge. It's going to have a World of Frozen in it. It's going to have that Lion King log flume ride.
Which looks so fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about that. And then
it's going to have like a little Pirates of the Caribbean area. And there's supposed to be a Pirates of the Caribbean treasure hunt that they're going to implement into it. And they're making it just seem like it's going to be, so it's all surrounded by this water feature, right? This lake that's going to actually have a stage in the middle of the lake. Mm-hmm. And that was shown off during I don't think it was D23. I forget what it was, but they showed, and it was just like the speakers were actually walking on the lake, so it kind of looks like you're in the water. And it's supposed to have this new, like they're saying, this highly technical water features, and like just everything that whatever they could do for aqua entertainment. They're implementing into this. So that's over in Paris. And now that's kind of like what the Disney of it all has been talked about this past week.
Yeah.
Obviously, they knew very well that Epic Universe was opening. And so they're like, well, we got to try something out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Because all the other stuff has been announced and everyone's just kind of waiting. Like, well, where's the construction? Where's the Monsters, Inc.? When are they demolishing Muppet Land? When is all this stuff happening? It really, other than Dino, there really isn't, the Dino Land construction. There's not.
Yeah.
Well, but beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of the bigger news of the week, and there's a lot more detail involved. Some things around the parks, it looks like people saw cars on Test Track. Yes. They saw and heard them going around the track. So that's pretty cool. Just, if you really get into the weeds of it, they looks like the cars were black. Now, obviously, these cars could be painted at any time. The other ride cars were blue. Okay. They were like a dark blue. But it does look like, obviously, the highlight of it is when you're going around the track at the 65 miles per hour. And so, so it's kind of good. So that, again, they were saying late summer opening. Those of us that are going in midsummer are kind of fingers crossed that we're going to be there on time. And we'll, obviously, if we make it there, we'll report it back to you. So that's Test Track. They're calling it Test Track 3.0, right? This is now the third iteration, essentially.
Yeah, that's wild. But it makes sense because it's one of the more, it grows, right? It evolves as we grow.
Got to keep
up.
Yeah, transportation keeps on moving. Disney also announced that the week after Easter, so that's going to be, right, you're listening to this, maybe you're listening to this Easter week, this is coming out, then the week after they're kind of extending some of the theme park hours.
Spring break.
Yeah, right. So it's kind of the end of spring break.
It is the end of spring. So I guess it would be considered going into summer hours, right?
Yes, exactly. So, there's a lot. I'm not going to run down all the lists. Essentially, Animal Kingdom's going from from 6 p.m. closing time to 7 p.m. You know, it's things like that. It's a couple hours here and there. Blizzard Beach is going to open a little, be open from 10 to 7. Anyway, so that's something. Check your My Disney Experience app or talk to your FTP travel specialist. They'll give you the whole rundown.
That's right. They're on top of it.
We so then over a little bit more detail going back into over in Disneyland Paris, they're also going to have an Up ride. So the first Up themed ride in all of Disney.
Oh,
it's just going to be one of those elevated carousels where you're essentially on swings and it spins you around as you're going up. They say that it's going to have breathtaking views of the Disneyland Paris and all that stuff from up there. But essentially, it is a kid ride that they're making it. And our kids like doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, no way, too high. So we got that. The concept art, World Park expansion. We heard about that already. We talked about it briefly. That's a Universal news. I had it in the wrong tab. Supposedly, Star Wars, they're going to be developing this is from the creator of Andor. He's saying that Disney is developing a Star Wars horror project.
Oh, what?
Now, this is one of Rob's side rants. Star Wars in itself, right, outside of the 9 movies, the 9 made theatrical movies, was all carrying one storyline, the entire time. The Skywalker saga, essentially.
Sure.
Star Wars fans have been asking for other facets of the world to go into beyond Jedis and Skywalkers. I feel like they're mining it a little bit too much now. If this is like a Star Wars horror project, who is that going to be for?
I don't know.
Are kids going to want to go to a horror movie? No. Are adults going to want to go to a Star Wars horror movie? Probably not, except for the nerds like me that are wearing an Imperial hat right now. So anyway, we'll see how that development, it could mean that it's not, nothing's really happening, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
How it could turn out. I think as you're going to be hearing about, and if you watch the Magical Minute, maybe you might hear that Space 220 over in Epcot, one of the famous the most popular restaurant in Epcot at this time is closing. They're closing down again. They're going to be dinner only for various times. It doesn't really give
not a lot of info about this, but we do know that they're going to be redoing some of the flooring, and so essentially the walk-up area, even where you'd make walk-up reservations, is not available right at the moment. Okay. So you got to be aware. Make sure you have your reservation on your app.
I got to say, and I kind of understand why they would want to redo that, because it is a little bit. It's underwhelming.
I know, you're just walking into concrete.
Yeah, you're concrete, and then it just has that little waiting area, and it looks like you could be at any mall, department store, going up into an elevator where it should be a little bit more. They could do it up a little more, even though if you're supposed to be on the ground, you're not in space, but I was ready to go.
How do you make that look like you're, going into a space program or something like that? That's what they need to do.
Yeah, you're right. Have a bunch of, empty astronaut out uniforms hanging up,
Yes. Think about going into Coral Reef. As soon as you walk into the waiting area, it's quite a long hallway, but the tile work and everything, it almost makes you feel like you're going underneath into the water. And that's as you're walking down this really long corridor, that brings you into the immersive experience, whereas 220 has not just yet. It's just the elevator.
Once you get up into the Stellarator.
Yeah.
It's a Stellarator. Come on.
Sorry.
We're going into the stars.
I agree with you there. I hope they come up with something really fabulous.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Again, check your Disney app. When you're trying to make reservations, it's going to make reservations a little bit harder to get.
Yeah.
Because that is a hot ticket item. Now, obviously, we talked about over in Universal a lot. One more thing about Epic Universe is that Universal's confirmed that Premier Pass holders are going to be able to use their Universal Express Pass perk. Say that 17 times fast. at Epic Universe. So there's different tiers. Obviously, I'm not going to go through them all of annual pass holders at Universal. The Premier Pass is like the step above, and it gives you at the other Universal parks after 4:00 you get free Express Pass.
Yeah, okay.
They confirmed, even though it doesn't show that yet on the Universal app, you are going to be able to use that perk in Epic Universe. So that's pretty cool. So you could go there after 4. Again, they're only open, but all Universal's not open very long after 4:00 unless you're going to like a Halloween Horror Nights or an event. So you got to get in there and you'll be able to, skip the line and say, "See ya, suckers," as you're walking into Monsters Unchained for the 9th time. They also, another cool Universal event that's going on is all those fan nights that they're having.
Yes, Universal Fan Fest.
Yeah, Universal Fan Fest. So they kind of gave a little bit more details if you're a Trekkie out there for the Star Trek Red Alert event. And it's going to be like you're basically walking into the USS Enterprise, the NCC-1701D, also just known as the D. Yes, I know.
I would get excited about this.
I'm watching a podcast that is going over all of the Jean-Luc Picard series of movies that have been released. So I've been kind of hearing more and more about that. So yeah, it's one of the iterations of the Enterprise because it blows up or gets taken or shut down or whatever, especially when they change cast. So you're going to be able to walk through that, but you're going to be able to see. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be an actual spaceship on the outside, but you're going to be walking through these sets that they're going to have set up, and you're going to see like some of the iconic scenes that you have seen throughout the series, and they're really going to immerse you in that, like you're part of the crew, and you have to you have tasks that you have to complete throughout the night.
Yeah.
But it's going to make it, it's going to be a lot of people in cosplay, as Trekkies are known to do, because those guys, you know what I mean? Trekkie people. They're nothing to us Star Wars. Abbie is like an underground Trekkie, and she won't openly admit it because of, she married me. But she kind of does have them. Anyway, either way, it sounds very cool. And that's coming up soon. I was just looking for a date on that. Just says coming in 2025. It doesn't give when the date is yet.
All right. That's
so we'll keep an eye out. And that was really it. That's all I have for the news around the parks.
All right. Wow. I mean, that was a lot more news than I thought, for sure, because it was kind of a slow week. Yeah,
especially, I can basically talk about anything and pull other objects and facts and different items into it. This was an epic episode.
Epically fabulous. Woo-hoo. But we're so happy you came to stop by to listen. We hope that you gave I don't know where that was going, but I hope that you enjoyed and we gave you some ideas of what Epic Universe is like. And if you're prepping for your trip, let us know. We'll talk to you soon, Pioneers. Have a good one.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.